Well, hello there. Today we are going to talk about my past, present, and future of books, what I've finished, what I'm currently reading, and what I'm going to get into. So let's get into it right now. First thing, we're going to start off with the fact that today I got this package in the mail and I was like, what is this? So let's show you. So this box came and I was like, what the heck is that? I don't know, Stan, what's in there? What was in there? You can't see that. So I'll tell you what's in there. I had entered a contest and I totally forgot about it. I won a hardcover book of No One Can Know by Kate Alice Marshall. This author wrote the book What Lies in the Woods, which I loved. I have a standalone review of that if you want to check that out. That I'll have a link down below in the darkness. But this is her newest, so I'm super excited that I won this. And it's like a little care package and it came with all this stuff. I'll tell you the synopsis in a minute, but let me show you the other things in it. So it comes with a double chocolate Ghirardelli cocoa mix, and we love us some hot chocolate, so yum. And then you know, hand warmers. Stay warm out there because it's been cold, baby. The other day it was like -4 here, so can't ever hurt to have hand warmers. And then it has this little key and it says, what unlocks the truth? Dun dun dun. I love skeleton keys. I think they're cool. And the best part, because, well, I like beanies a lot, and it came with a beanie. Is that cute? I don't think I own a brown beanie. Kind of matches my hair. Sin loves beanies a lot. You may have noticed that if you've been around the channel. So yeah, I was super excited, and you know, there's a bunch of confetti stuff in there. You don't care about that. But anyways, tell you what, it's always a good day when you win a book. I've won a few. I pretty much almost never used to win anything, but I think I've actually won like 3 book giveaway contests. So that's pretty cool in the last 2 years. This story, No One Can Know. 3 sisters, 2 murders, and too many secrets to count. 14 years ago, the Palmer sisters, Emma, Juliet, and Daphne, left their home in Arden Hills and never returned. But when Emma discovers she's pregnant and her husband loses his job, she has no option but to return to the house that she and her estranged sisters still owned, and where their parents were murdered. I wouldn't go back there. Emma has never told anyone what she saw the night her parents died, even when she became the prime suspect. But her presence in the house threatens to uncover secrets that have stayed hidden for years, and the sisters are drawn together once again. As they face the memories of the past, rivalries restart, connections are forged, and for the first time, Emma starts to ask questions about what really happened that night. I don't know. Do you know? The more Emma learns, the more riddles emerge. And Emma begins to wonder just what her siblings will do to keep the past buried, and whether she did the right thing staying quiet that night about what was whispered. No one can know. Books are my favorite surprise. When a random book shows up like that, it's awesome. A lot of times if you win a contest, they're like, hey, you won, but there was no nothing. It was just like, surprise. So that's fun. So recently, I finished reading the book Evil Eye by Etaf Rum. That book was really good. It's about generational trauma and growing up in an Arabic family, coming over from Palestine. And you start in the beginning, and the main character, her name is Yara, and she's in the kitchen with her grandmother, Tita, and she learns how to make all the different recipes and food with her grandmother. And her grandmother also likes to read Turkish coffee grounds to tell people their fortune. So she teaches her granddaughter how to do this and all that. At some point, before she goes to get married, she has her grandmother read her fortune from these coffee grounds, and it does not seem to be such a great fortune. It seems like she's gonna face a lot of struggles in her life. She grew up in America with her parents. Her parents had a really horrible relationship. Her father beat the crap out of her mother and never took any responsibility for anything and basically put all the blame on the woman. And this, that, and the other. Her mom was horribly unhappy, and you know, she had 6 kids that she was trying to raise, and just, it was a very emotional, traumatic upbringing. And this highly affected the daughter growing up, whereas she carried the weight of their relationship on her shoulders. But she's in this relationship with a man. She was able to go to college. She has a job, 2 lovely daughters. They seem to have a good relationship, yet she still is very unhappy and depressed and has like bouts of anger, and she doesn't understand why, because like her life is so much better than her mom's. You know, she has a career and a job, and she has all these things that just weren't open to the prior generations in her family. But there's still a level of emotional abuse that she's going through from her husband, and she has no family support, and she has no support. Everyone just puts the blame on the woman, like she's to blame for everything, for all the problems. And it's like, yeah, no wonder she's being emotionally abused the whole time in the relationship. Not all abuse is physical. Sometimes emotional can be just as bad or worse than the physical. So I'm starting to rant. It was a very powerful and moving book, and it's like, what does she do to lift herself up, to start having relationships and friendships with other people, and to find support, to just get out of this like depression and sadness that like has gripped her soul. And dang, it's such a good book. Very moving. A lot of reading it, you just, the frustration of being, you know, in that situation, of being a woman, of coming from that, how you're expected to behave in a certain culture and all of that, and just seeing that through this character's eyes. It's hard, but there's also like such light towards her journey and how she loves her daughter so much, and just the journey to starting to get out of depression and starting to believe you're worthy and that you aren't to blame for everything. It's just a very powerful book. I would highly recommend it. Currently, I'm in the middle of this book called Star Signs by Ivy Grimes, and this is indie horror. Super weird. The main character gets kidnapped. She gets taken to this house like out in the country, and there's this family there. There's mom, dad, these 3 boys. She's like, are you guys gonna hurt me? Are you gonna, what is happening? They won't tell her why she's there, but they're like, no, we're not gonna hurt you. We're not gonna do any of this. And so far, it's very strange. These people are weird. She thinks maybe they're in a cult or something, or some sort of weird, like, religious prophecy. Who knows? It's really strange. I'm enjoying it so far, and it's a short little novella, so I should be able to finish this today. And then I'll have further thoughts in the future to share with you. So then, we picked up a few other books. This next one, I am super excited to read. So, this is book 2 in the Emily Wilde series. So this is Map of the Otherlands, and I read the first book, which was something about fairies. Why can't I think of the name of it? It was like Emily Wilde's Encyclopedia of Fairies or something like that. I have a standalone review for that one. I will link that down below if you want to check it out, and I'll figure out the name of the book. It is the Encyclopedia of Fairies. It was in the book. I looked it up. All right, so this book, as we return to the realm of the fairies with Emily Wilde. Emily Wilde is a genius scholar of fairy folklore who just wrote the world's first comprehensive encyclopedia of fairies. She's learned many of the secrets of the hidden ones on her adventures. And also from her fellow scholar and former rival, Wendell Bamble Bee. Good old Wendell Bamble Bee. Because Bamble Bee is more than infuriatingly charming. He's an exiled fairy king on the run from his murderous mother and in search of a door back to his realm. And despite Emily's feelings for Bamble Bee, she's not ready to accept his proposal of marriage. Loving one of the fair folk comes with secrets and dangers. She also has a new project to focus on, a map of the realms of fairy. While she's preparing her research, Bamble Bee lands her in trouble yet again. Well, he's kind of a pain in the butt, but oh so charming. When assassins sent by his mother invade Cambridge, now Bamble Bee and Emily are on another adventure. This time to the picturesque Austrian Alps, where Emily believes they may find the door to Bamble Bee's realm. and the key to freeing him from his family's dark plans. But with new relationships for the prickly Emily to navigate, and dangerous folk hunting and lurking in every forest and hollow, she must unravel the mysterious workings of fairy doors and of her own heart. So, super excited to read this. The first one was kind of like part romance, part weird fairy adventure, and so I'm sure this is the continuation of their romance. I claim not to like romance, but I like it when it's cloaked in horror or fantasy, so I guess I'm kind of a liar. Whatever. Okay, this other book I got, and I'm super excited to read it. I'm super excited about all books, but I really am. This one, Mother Horror was raving about it, so I got it from the library. River Woman, River Demon by Jennifer Given. If you've been around the channel, you know I have like a weird affinity for like horror that has to do with or be around the element of water, whether it's underwater horror or horror by the sea or strange creatures that come from the water. I just love reading stuff that has to do with this. So let's find out what this is about, because I'm not 100% sure. I literally did not read the synopsis. Mother Horror has recommended so many books that pretty much everything I've read that she's recommended I have loved. So I'm just blind faith. Same reason I picked up The Reformatory was because of her. Ava Santos Moon is a burgeoning Chicana artist who practices the ancient spiritual ways of brujeria and curanderismo, but she's at one of her lowest points, suffering from disorienting blackouts, creative stagnation, and a feeling of disconnect from her magical roots. When her husband, a beloved university professor, and the glue that holds their family together is taken into custody for the shocking murder of their friend, Ava doesn't know who to trust, least of all herself. She soon falls under suspicion as a potential suspect, and her past rises to the surface, dredging up the truth about an eerily similar death from her childhood. Struggling with fragmented memories and self-doubt, an increasingly terrified Ava fears that she might have been involved with both murders. But why doesn't she remember? Only the dead women know for sure, and they're coming for her with a haunting vengeance. As she fights to keep her family out of danger, Ava realizes she must use her magic as a bruja to protect herself and her loved ones while confronting her own dark history. A psychological thriller that weaves together the threads of folk magic with personal and cultural empowerment. River Woman, River Demon is a mysterious incantation of reckoning with the past and claiming one's unique power and voice. While the synopsis doesn't tell me anything about if it has to do with water, but I have to assume with a name like River Woman, River Demon, there's some water in there somewhere. We'll find it. We'll splash around. And then as someone who loves weird books, we got We Are Not Alone. I saw this UFO on the cover, and I was like, we are not alone. All right. The extraordinary history of UFOs and aliens invading our hopes, fears, and fantasies. So we are going to explore our fascination with UFOs and extraterrestrial intelligence through exclusive interviews, archival photos, and strange but true stories from history. Do you want to believe? After decades of cover-ups and denials, and a June 2021 report from the US government finally admitting that what many people already knew, yes, UFOs are real, and no, we don't know what or who they are. Writer and historian Mark Hartzman separates fact from fiction and provides a comprehensive tour of the skies, including UFO sightings, from the famous, including the Phoenix Lights and the Ariel School incident, to the obscure, including the spinning top UFOs of 1964 and the Belgian Triangles. Alien abductions, including the Betty and Barney Hill and Pascagoula abductions. Scientific evidence, including the WOW radio signal and the interstellar Oumuamua object. The Oumuamua object, I read a book about that by Avi Loeb, and I can't think of what it was called. Avi Loeb, what was your book called? Oh, it's just Extraterrestrial? I think it's just called Extraterrestrial by Avi Loeb, and it's about the Oumuamua object that was seen. Cover-ups and conspiracies, including the Roswell incident and Area 51. governmental and military findings from Project Blue Book to reports of UFOs at nuclear weapon sites. Deeply researched and highly entertaining, this guide will inform and enchant anyone who's ever doubted that we are alone in the universe. And I have a fascination with all this stuff, so I love reading books about paranormal stuff. Ghosts, UFOs, cryptids. This is other stuff that just like grabs me and I'm like, yes, yes please, must read. So I feel like I have a great variety of books that I'm going to get into. I've been reading a lot of fun and great stuff this year. I am looking forward to all of these. Also, still, like, what a surprise today with that book that came in the mail with the hot chocolate and the hand warmers. And a hat. Came with a beanie. That's so cool. Anyway, do you guys have, like, if you see something in the title or on the cover that like you're just drawn to it immediately, like how I'm like, I have an affinity for the element of water, or if it has to do with ghosts or weird stuff like cryptids, aliens, UFOs, is there something like that that you're like, if you see it, you're like, oh, gotta look at this and see what this is all about? Like, what grabs you and starts to reel you in towards certain books that you gravitate towards? I'm always curious. Let me know down in the comments. We'll chat about it, talk about stuff and things. So if you like videos where I talk about multiple things that I have read or am reading, the next video coming up will be about that, so stick around, check it out. And if you had fun hanging out today, hit that subscribe button, come back, see me again, and we'll talk about more bookish things and weird stuff.